Welcome back to the Talkin the Town podcast. I'm your boy Chillz. We are back right here at the Regal Suites and Spaces podcast studio. And we talking today. And today, you know what we're talking about? We are talking about cybersecurity and AI. All right, I got a special guest. My man Eric Harris. He is a cybersecurity expert and IT consultant. So welcome to the podcast, brother.
Hey, Mr. Chillz. Thanks for having me, brother. Thanks for having me.
So listen, before we get started on all of this, it's just one thing I need to know. Is AI taking over the world, yes or no? Go.
Yes. No, it's not. I don't want to scare anybody because I get that a lot. No, AI is not taking over the world, but I don't know the future. That's my caveat.
Okay.
That's my disclaimer. I don't know the future, but I don't think it is.
All right, that's fair. Now we can start where we need to start. I had to get that off because it'd be in the back of my mind the whole time.
Oh, you nervous?
Well, yeah. I'm like, it's taking over everything. But no, man, welcome to the pod, man. I know that this has been your life for the past 20 plus years. In cyber and in IT. So just give us a couple minutes quick of your backstory in this space.
All right. Real quick. I jumped into the computer thing real early in life. I knew what I wanted to do at high school, senior. I was going to college. I knew I was going to college and all that. But I was like, you know what? I want to make a video game. That's all I want to do.
Now, what video games were out at that time?
And you trying to date me?
Come on, man.
You trying to date me?
Listen, I know you a fellow just like me, so I mean we good.
Oh yeah, I'm a uncle. But no. Some variation or a sequel of Mario Brothers was out.
So like Nintendo
Tecmo Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
listen, you get Bo Jackson with the Raiders.
Hated the Raiders in real life, but if you want to win in Tecmo Bowl, you play with the Raiders.
Yeah.
So that was my thing back then during that time period. So I played a lot of games, and I wanted to make a video game. So I started taking college classes as a senior in computer science, more specifically program writing. Mm-hmm. So when I went off to college, I went to Norfolk State for a few years. Then I transferred to South Carolina State, where I graduated from.
Okay.
And I got my degree in computer science. But I also jumped in ROTC. So I ended up getting commissioned, going into the Army to serve. I was commissioned as a second lieutenant into the quartermaster branch, which is basically logistics. So I got away from computers a little bit in terms of like that was my actual job, but I always stayed on it. So when the opportunity presented itself, the Army started restructuring based off of the new battlefield, so to speak, which is cyber. Okay. So the Army stood up Cyber Command, which is here now in Augusta.
Yeah.
But this started probably 12, 15 years ago. And when they started talking about it, I was like, I want to do that. I had a background in it.
Right.
I met all the prerequisites already. I had a bachelor's in a STEM field, which for those who don't know, STEM is science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Mm-hmm. I already had one of those degrees. And I just had the drive to do it. So I was accepted, and that's how I ended up coming here from Germany. And so the second half of my military career, I was doing all cyber stuff.
You were loving it, huh?
Yeah. Well, yes and no. It's just like anything that's new, there's a lot of growing pains.
Yeah.
So we had to go through that. It's like people like to say you're trying to build a plane while you're flying it at the same time.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it was. But once it started to settle down and career lanes started to separate themselves in terms of like, this is the area of concentration for this type of cyber person, that type of cyber person, the other type of cyber person, versus it being one big melting pot of people just trying to get in, then it got better. And as you can tell now in Augusta, it's pretty booming,
Yeah, to say the least.
I've been here since 2013, and, it's 12 years later, this place, you see how bad the traffic is, right?
Man, crazy.
That's
cyber.
Yeah,
right.
Cyber and medical people run Augusta.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's it. That's how I got into it.
All right, so let's go ahead and break it down in layman's terms for the people who might not know. What is cybersecurity?
Cybersecurity, basically, in a nutshell, is just digital safety. And
Okay.
without going too far into, a actual class of what it is, it's best to like give examples. Right?
Okay.
So
break it down.
So with cyber, it comes in different shades. When a lot of people, they hear cybersecurity, they're thinking the movies, they're thinking, hackers.
Yep.
Or, defensive type people who stop the hackers, blah, blah, blah. That's part of it.
Yeah.
But the average person don't deal with that, right?
Right.
The average person has some type of computing device, phone. But the phone's a computing device too nowadays.
Absolutely, especially Androids with the advanced technologies that we have that a lot of iPhone users might not have.
There it is.
There's more advanced. You know what I mean?
So I was going to ask you what you're trying to say, but you said it. But yeah, so the average person is dealing with that.
Yeah.
So cybersecurity, you're keeping your devices and your information as secure as possible. And a lot of people are not doing this defensive type stuff.
Right.
What we're doing is having strong passwords and stuff like that.
Yep.
Making sure your device is turned off when you don't necessarily need to use it. Not necessarily a phone, but like a laptop or something like that. That's basically what it is. And that's probably an oversimplification. But again, I know I could take this down the wrong hole and I don't want to lose anybody.
Got you. So what we deal with, like our average day to day, what we're focused on is our cell phones, our computers, tablets, things like that. So that's probably the extent of most people's, interaction with digital. It's something that we carry around with us in our phone, we work with on a laptop.
Yeah.
But like, what's some of the, I guess, mistakes that we might make on our devices that can, that's maybe a mistake or that can allow for people that's trying to hack into different things. So what's some things that we could do even with our cell phones, maybe some tips to kind of prevent any of that stuff from happening? Is there anything that we do and don't realize it?
I think the main thing is not educating yourself. And that's one of the things I preach no matter what type of audience I'm speaking to, whether it's a bunch of peers that's in the industry with me or if it's just a class of people who are trying to get a little more knowledgeable. Education is where it starts. So like, let's take example, take your phone. You just pulled it out. All right, so take your phone. A lot of people will take their phone, charge it after they get it, after they just purchase it or whatnot.
That's right.
They'll take it, charge it up. If they're replacing another phone, they'll move their back. They'll load it up,
right?
Get their backup loaded up to the new phone and stuff like that, and then they're off and running.
Yeah.
Right. And because it's doing what it's designed to do, but you're not thinking about those factory settings in your phone. Now I don't have an Android, so
not everybody is able. So
that's strike two. But it's cool. It's cool. All right. So well, Android probably has something similar, but with the iPhones, you have the AirDrop feature and things like that, where if the phones get in close proximity of each other,
right,
they can share information. And there's settings in there that are, out of the box, it's on. And that's a way that somebody can actually get your information from you. So, if you want to secure your phone, go in there. And if you don't know the settings, and most people don't, you can always YouTube it. You can always YouTube it, because there's a lot of things I know and there's a lot of things I don't know. And if I don't know something, I know there's somebody on YouTube probably smarter, and I will search it. And that was one of the things I had to go find out a while back. You had to go in there and turn those settings off, because I have a work phone,
right,
and I have my personal phone. They're both iPhones. And one day, this is a couple years ago, one day they were just next to each other and it just started buzzing. I was like, "What is that?" And then when I flipped the phones over, the screens both said the same thing. It was
mirroring,
but it would mirror each other, talking about do this to share or whatever. I'm like, okay, I know I have to push a button to make it do it, but the fact that it's doing it,
exactly,
it's like, okay,
it's picking it up. All
right, so you need to go in and check your settings, and that's one thing. Not just that one, but anything out of the box, you need to go check them, because the defaults for a phone are actually going to be on, because the companies are trying to be secure with the phones, but their principle is to have more enjoyable user experience.
Right. First, that's a priority.
Yeah, because security is one of those things that doesn't make people money.
Right.
It can save you money, but it doesn't generate revenue. And that's another topic in itself altogether.
So check those factory
Check
settings.
check the factory
And
settings.
make sure it's not anything turned on that you don't want on, and vice versa.
Right. And it's always a risk reward to it. You know, some people they will opt to leave maybe a more risky setting turned on just for the sake of ease of use.
Right, exactly.
So that's why I say educate yourself, and then after that you make your own decision what you want to do.
Okay.
You know, the same thing with laptops, tablets, anything like that.
So for me, and you tell me if I'm wrong for this, but for my phone, I have this idea in my head that phones really don't get hacked as much as computers. So sometimes I'm like, well, my phone will probably, there's some type of defense or security on the phone that prevents it from getting hacked. Do phones get hacked?
Yes. Anything that touches a network can be hacked. And
what does that look like if your phone is hacked?
In terms of like some type of clue or something that might.
Yeah, because we all know, like with a laptop, if you get some type of virus or something like that, you might get that blue screen of death, or you would be like, oh man, I caught a virus on my laptop or my computer. But on cell phones, I don't think it's anything like that can possibly happen. Like, do phones get viruses?
Yes. If viruses traverse the network. Now, an argument can be made either way about what's easier to hack, a phone versus another end device like a laptop or something like that. To me, it's all the same in terms of they're on the network, so they're fair game. Service providers that you're getting your internet from, or you're getting your cell phone service from,
right.
They by virtue of being a service provider, they have a certain level of responsibility when it comes to security of what's on their network. Like, you got your phone, whoever you got it from, Verizon, AT&T, whoever, they have a certain level of responsibility, but it only extends so far.
Right.
So what might be a giveaway to a phone being hacked, similar to a computer, some things just gonna look odd, right?
Okay.
Like let's say you might have an app that doesn't load right or something like that. One thing that was common a while back, I don't know if it's still that common, but the performance of a phone, one of the things I had to research was this question. And a lot of times the phones, because their performance is being degraded, it's working harder. Your phone's getting hotter or something like that. I'm not saying that's the only thing, but this particular situation I was researching a couple years back, that was one of the things. Like, if the phone's having to work harder, and this is like iPhone 12, 13, let's just say that. It was an older phone, not like these 17s that are out now.
Okay.
Degraded performance is a giveaway. And people may or may not notice that if they're not on their phones that much. But if somebody who's on their phone a lot, they're going to notice that.
Yeah.
They're going to notice that. If you pick up your phone, if you don't have it in one of these fancy cases or whatnot, it's like, man, why is my phone hot?
Yeah.
Because it's performing at a rate that it shouldn't be. Those type of things. And then there's the more obvious things like maybe distortion of images on your phone, frequently going on and off. Not saying these can be things, but you could just have a bad phone, right? I mean, and that's where hackers and people like that, can get by. They take advantage of the human aspect of cybersecurity, which is often overlooked and seldom, it's not talked about enough, the human aspect of cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people they get complacent. They get desensitized to their phone going on and off, right? It's like, okay, well, my phone always does that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this is the time that somebody's actually cracking into your phone.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So you might want to go take it in to the Apple Store, AT&T, whoever, and get it checked out.
Get it checked out.
Yeah, if you don't have that knowledge base, and most people don't, go get it checked out.
And it's crazy because so many things are connected to the cell phone now. You got bank accounts, you got everything that's like saved in the phone. So like cell phones are like the new wallet. Just think about like your Apple Pay or your Google Wallet. Like everything gets stored there. So if somebody gets your phone, or if they're able to get in the phone, they could do all kind of stuff because your bank accounts and cards are connected to where you don't even have to put in the verification number or anything. It's in there.
No, you're right. Once you set it up, it's pretty much you can run with it.
Yeah.
You know, so if somebody cracks your phone, they got all of that.
Wow. Yeah. So let's talk about is it phishing scams?
Yes.
What is that?
Phishing is a social engineering attack to trick someone into giving up credentials so they can do whatever they want to
Gotcha.
do, whether it's to take something from your account or take your identity altogether. Phishing it's not as technical as people may think it is. Phishing is more social engineering.
So give me an example of a phishing scam.
Okay. Well, the one we like to joke about in our community is, and it's an old one. It's about the Nigerian prince email, right? You know, it sends an email. If you do, I forget exactly. It's old. I forget exactly what it is, but if you do something, you're gonna get some share of money or some crap.
Oh,
like
right.
that.
I remember that.
I can't remember it because it's like, okay, there are new ones out there now, so you kind of forget that. But it's like, so there'll be some link or something embedded in there.
So would it kind of be the equivalent of somebody falsifying who they are, disguising it like they're somebody else? Like I got an email, I believe it was a day or so ago, and the email came from irs.gov, right? Mm-hmm. That was the title. Click here, we need you to update your information. But when I clicked the sender was a personal email.
Oh, you clicked it?
No.
You just
No. I opened the email.
Oh no.
But no, when I went to so is that phishing?
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you one I get a lot, and this goes back to the human aspect of it. I'm gonna preach that because I want people, whoever watches this or whatnot, I don't want them to run away from just like, man, that went over my head. No, the things that you need to do to protect yourself are not ones and zeros. It's right here.
Right.
Read, pay attention. But the one I get a lot is about my storage. You were talking about it earlier when you were setting up your device, and you.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I get this email a lot saying that you're about to run out of storage or whatever. And first of all, now this is not a professional scammer because they're sending it to me and it looked like somebody drew it, or it's a bad screenshot,
right? Yeah,
and they're trying to make it look like a legit form, and they're asking you to log in to increase your storage space or whatnot on this platform. So again, human aspect, know what you're dealing with, all right? So
yeah.
I don't subscribe to Google storage for anything. So why are you sending me that?
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's the one that goes straight to the junk bin.
Yeah.
And then you flag it as a phishing scam because a lot of the email services have it so where you can flag suspicious emails, and then it'll automatically go to junk or whatnot. Between that one and the one a lot of people get about shopping, I did a video on this a while back. It says your Amazon package is being delayed. I didn't order anything from Amazon.
Exactly,
I don't shop like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, to get an updated status, click here. Now, the thing about it is some people might think it's harmless enough, right? But when you click that link, you may not provide them any information or whatnot, but the damage might already be done because clicking that link might launch some malicious code, some malware.
Right.
So don't click anything. It's like, well, they didn't ask me anything. It didn't matter. You activated it by clicking that link.
So what's some telltale signs that they could check to see if it's legit or not? Do you check the sender email address?
Honestly, it's situational. It depends on what it is. It's let's say you get an email. I get a lot of different things. Let's say you get an email about a job. Mm-hmm. And again, they're trying to take advantage of the human aspect. There's a lot of people out in the world now that's searching for jobs, and they're mass applying, whether they're doing it by hand or they're using some type of AI service to get a bunch of resumes and applications out there into the wild, and hopefully they catch one. But the point is, because you're sending out so much stuff, when somebody emails you back, you like, oh, I got to check it out because I've been applying to jobs all month. I've been doing like 30 applications a day. So you got to check this email. Mm. All right, so start looking at who it came from. Mm-hmm. All right, some of the email, you know it's bad.
Right.
You got to know it's bad. I mean, those are kind of the amateur type people.
Yeah.
Right. But I've run into some really good ones who have legit emails. They have a great letter, signature block, and all that. But that's enough information for me to go research.
Yeah.
So if I'm applying to jobs and somebody reaches out to me, I'm going to go check trusted sources. So I'm going to LinkedIn.
Okay.
I'm going to see if this person exists. If I can't find them there, that's an easy, all right, I ain't dealing with it.
Right.
Or go look up the company, see if the company has a website. Mm-hmm. And then if the company does have a website, go to the directory.
Right.
And drill down. Especially if it comes from someone who says they're like a senior HR person, they're going to be listed somewhere on that webpage more than likely. So if I can't find you, or the person that is the actual senior person isn't you, then and again, and it's situational. It's situational. Like it can be some emails like that. It can be one of these things like I was just talking about, or you won something from a place that you actually shop at. I get a lot of Harbor. Yeah. I do a lot of projects too, and I get a lot of emails from Harbor Freight. Uh-huh. But I typically won't get a legit one until after I've left the store. So if I'm getting a bunch of emails from Harbor Freight, so I won something. Yeah, because they look bad. First of all, again, it goes back to that bad copy paste,
right,
or that bad screenshot or whatnot. A lot of misspellings in the email.
That's a telltale sign.
That's a telltale sign. But I will say this for everybody listening. That is a telltale sign, but AI is making us aware they ain't making those mistakes no more.
Right.
So you got to be really careful. You got to keep track of what you actually do.
And I would also say, just to add to it, know what emails you're using to subscribe to different things. Like when I got the irs.gov email, that's not the email that I use for the IRS. So it just didn't mesh. Like, no, if your Amazon account is not linked to this email address, then you already know it's probably phishing, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So a little bit of common sense with this as well.
The human aspect. I mean, it's a busy world now. Everything's connected.
Yeah.
Everybody wants everything now. They want it fast. And, again, you lose track of your own self. Mm-hmm. I know I've had to adopt the less is more mentality with everything I do now, because I'm busy doing a lot of different things in the community with cyber, all of that stuff, and it's easy to lose sight of yourself.
Yeah.
So I hadn't used this email address. I still got it, but I hadn't used this email address in like 20 years, and I think I might have. It might be tied to something stupid, right? Like an old Hulu account. Well, let's move that stuff and away from that email, and then just leave that email alone. Don't check it. Yeah. I think you can deactivate some, but it's like, okay, well, if I deactivated it, it'd be my luck. There's something that I actually need.
Right, that you forgot about.
Yeah, but just don't use it to subscribe to anything.
Yeah.
Try to keep everything in one place. Try to keep don't try. Definitely keep different passwords.
Right.
As much of a pain as it is. Well, not even passwords. I would tell people, you go back to the past, keep past phrases.
Right.
What that is,
where was I born?
Well, no, that's more of a security question. Okay. But that if you just use that question as a phrase, That could be a password. We were just doing this with the with Challenge Preparatory Academy. And there's a young lady. There's a lot of bright kids in that place, by the way. Shout out to Challenge Preparatory Academy. They just had their annual Cybersecurity Awareness Month fundraiser Saturday. I was fortunate enough to attend some other community cyber leaders. Really great event. And we had a table. We had a series of tables there, and I was at one with another brother, Danny Etheridge.
Okay. Big shouts out to my guy Danny.
Yeah, shout out Danny. Where we were discussing password. They were playing a game, and it was a contest who could come up with the best password. And so the common thing is, what you see when you set up a new password, it's got to be like however many characters they'll tell you. The rule of thumb in our world is like 16 characters.
Uppercase,
lowercase, number, special character. Right. But that gets complicated. So there's a way to have a stronger password without using a password. It's actually just a passphrase. And the young lady that I was working with, she had a really unique phrase. It was, I love God and I like something. It was some type of dessert, but it was like 20 characters long, and it had the combination. It had the uppercase, lowercase, number, special characters. But it's a phrase that she likes to say.
You know what? I never thought about using a phrase for a password.
Use a phrase. I mean, and you can incorporate all and everything I'm telling you now. Hackers already know this. They know this, but they don't know the phrase.
Right.
They don't know the phrase. I mean, if you're on the offensive, you always have one advantage. You know the play.
Right.
They don't. Now, I'm not saying they're not good enough to anticipate, but if you have a phrase, use it versus trying to keep coming up with
words.
Yeah. The phrase could be something you like. It could be a significant life event or something like that.
Okay. I like that.
That's what she did. And I'm not sure about the young man. I can't remember if it was a young lady or young man, but Brother Danny was working with one. We were sitting at the same table when he was working with one, I was working with one, and they're competing against each other. And I'm not sure whether he told him to use a phrase or not. I think he may have, but Danny, obviously he's an expert too, and he knows this stuff. And I know those two were at least in the finals when it came to the contest, because a lot of kids came up with right answers. And again, shout out to the CPA, because those kids are smart.
Wow.
They know that stuff, man. And, it's like in about 6 months, they're going to be teaching us something.
Listen, I'm running with the whole passphrase thing. Now, we talking about digital stuff now, right? And with us coming up, what was the most sacred thing to us that you don't tell anybody? If somebody asks you for, you like, hell no. Social Security number.
Oh, well, yeah.
So is Social Security number, are our Social Security numbers still that sacred, or because of how much people can get from you online, is it not even as, important or sacred as it once was?
I'm going to say yes, but the back of my mind tells me no, right? The only reason I say that is because it's still important. And,
and I ask that because it's so many other ways for people to steal your identity aside from that, right? Especially in this era. So they probably don't even need that. Is that still like no, you can't get my social? Because there's so many other ways to get your identity now.
Well, I mean, Social Security numbers, I mean, what is that, 9-digit number? So, the first few numbers, that represents the state you were born in. I forget the second two numbers, because we don't even really talk about it as much anymore. Yeah. But those first 5 numbers you can actually narrow down. And then what do a lot of people ask you for?
Last 4.
They ask you for the last 4. So you could trick somebody on the phone and like, okay, hey, this might be your, let's just say, your wife is out there trying to set up an account at Rooms to Go, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Wherever she's shopping at. And they need your last 4, and your wife calls you. Again, voice cloning. Your wife calls you. It's like, I don't know why I can't remember your last four of your social. Can you tell me what it is? You ain't gonna think anything.
Right.
You ain't gonna hesitate. You're gonna be like, yeah, honey, it's 4, 5, 6, 7, and there it is. Now you put those 4 with the other 5 that they already figured out because they know what state you were born and stuff like that. So, so it's still important, but it's just they know how to get that information. And that's a social engineering thing. That's not even technical. Nobody went to a computer to do that. Right. They called you and asked you. And then you got to think about all your information that's already out there. It's already out there because we all apply for accounts.
Yep.
And then you start getting these I don't want to it's spam emails basically. You know, you apply for an account, now you're getting all these emails. They always talk about, you're trying to get you to buy something.
Buy more, yeah.
Yeah, it's just marketing, whatever. Right. They're trying to sell.
Hey, don't hate on what I do, okay? Because my clients send out those emails.
I will not hate. I get it.
Get him, Tad. Get him.
I will not hate, but it's like, yo, I already bought what I was going to buy from you, man. To stop sending me emails.
Let me unsubscribe now, okay? Because I'm not interested.
Yeah, so yeah, your information is already out there.
Now, you said voice cloning. School me on that.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna point you back to my WRDW segment that I did a couple weeks ago. But voice cloning basically is just as it sounds. They have applications that can use an AI that can copy your voice. And then they use that to trick someone with it.
Really? Now, is there such thing as like dark AI? You know how they have the dark web, like dark AI that does these type of things? Or is this just your regular AI that you can just subscribe to on a monthly basis and it's above board? Because that just seems a little shady.
No, that's a good question. I don't know if there's a such thing as dark AI. I hope it ain't, because now I gotta go research something else. But you can just use any AI application. I don't know them off the top of my head like their names, but you can Google it.
Wow.
And find AI systems that can copy someone's voice, do voice cloning.
But you have to give them a snippet of that voice, right? Wouldn't you?
You can give it to them, or they can take it.
So if I wanted to clone Tad's voice,
yeah,
like would I just say, "Hey, clone Tad Jones' voice from Augusta, Georgia," or would I have to give them a sample of his voice?
Oh yeah, you get a sample of the voice, and that's the thing. When we were talking about it a couple of weeks ago on the station at the segment, we were talking about how they capture your voice, and a lot of people think, well, it's just phone calls or whatnot. No, it's not just phone calls. Have anyone ever told you when you set up your voicemail to use the factory setting? To use the factory voice?
People don't use but
your
people
voicemail.
Don't use voicemail anymore.
They don't, but well.
But don't use your voice on there because people can.
They don't need to talk to you to get it. You got videos posted to social media.
Oh, wow.
They can get that. It's like I say, everybody is out. Everybody's information is out there. Ways to get your information or to clone your voice or your likeness, because there's video cloning too, deep fakes, where the deep fake is a category, and that could be voice cloning, that could be video clone. A lot of the videos that people talk about as propaganda on the internet, especially when you talk about political stuff, a lot of that is AI created.
Wow.
I mean, as bad as things might seem to be sometimes this person actually didn't say that.
Right.
It's just a way for people to keep the tensions up between
Keep
sides.
some mess going on.
Keep some mess going on. And I reference the political side because that's...
You're right. That people are passionate about that.
Especially now. But yeah, they don't have to talk to you. They can get it off your page.
Because when you think of, we all have content out there, and they can just take that and
they can take this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cut.
Right. Right.
No.
Wow. Okay.
So But you can combat that in different ways to the best you can. I mean, it's just like growing up. Your parents try to keep you from as much stuff as possible.
Right, yeah.
But there's only so much they can do.
Right.
There's only so much we can do because those cyber criminals, they're creative, and AI has made them that much more powerful. So we have to try to use it to make us more, defensive in nature, because if they have a tool, we need to use that same tool to combat them. Otherwise, it's the equivalent of like an NFL team playing some middle school team.
Right.
They're just gonna run through us, right? So.
And really, even more so, just using common sense with stuff, right? And being just a little bit more protective of, and even maybe having inside jokes will be a good way to kind of beat that, because I know when I call my guy Tad is, hey, Mr. Jones, and so if he doesn't say it back, then I know, it's a voice clone. It's a voice clone. I'm picking up.
Yeah. See, I'm gonna go back to that segment. That was one of the last things we talked about. So when I was talking about setting up a passphrase.
Right.
This is along those lines, and families just set up safe words or groups of friends. Whoever you contact the most, especially if you working together and you work on something or work with something that's relatively sensitive to your business or whatnot, or your family. Set up a safe word or safe phrase, and that's basically like I was saying earlier. A safe word would be, I don't know, chicken pot pie.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's a phrase, but that's whatever word you want to use. Bananas. Right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's just say that's your family safe word or whatever, and your safe phrase could be, hot fudge banana split. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, something. Or some type of routine, just something that you guys would know.
Yeah.
Some type of routine when you get on the phone, maybe you say something or you address a person a certain way.
Yeah.
Like if Tad were to call me and say, hey, Matt, I'm like, it's either one, not him, or two, he at work and he not supposed to be on the phone. But you know what I mean? So like, it's those type of telltale signs that it's not that person.
Right. So you be using the phone when you not supposed to?
Yeah. He's a rule breaker, a renegade.
Oh man, he's going rogue.
So I know you just mentioned something about businesses, so I want to transition over to that. I know we've been talking about AI, cyber, and a personal use, but what about when it comes to businesses? Like, how can businesses protect themselves? Are small businesses even targeted when it comes to cyber? Like, what type of vulnerabilities that, are there out there for small businesses that we might not be aware of?
All right, I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there.
Throw it.
Small businesses are just as much of a target, if not more so, than larger corporations by the virtue of them being small. Mm-hmm. There's an understanding or an expectation is probably true that they have less defensive mechanisms in place because it costs money to do that stuff.
Yep.
Right. So, and they would be susceptible to the same type of attacks. Like a small business, everybody's doing everything online. Everything's digital. Whether it's you're accepting payments, your supply chain, everything is running through the network. So, you got this really small startup. They may not. Well, odds are they don't have an IT staff,
right,
or anybody to do that type of security stuff for them. So, they're leaning on their own devices to try to protect themselves, or they go get some YouTube chief information security officer and they just try to follow along with what they do. Not saying that person is wrong, because more than likely they do know what they're talking about. But you really need to have an expert
in that area
close to you. And there's insurances that go along with that, and insurances cost money,
right?
And they may not have them.
Now, You bring up a good point. For smaller businesses, startups, they might not have the additional, income to have an IT person on staff or whatnot. But if it was one service that a small business should have, if they can only afford one thing, what would you suggest as, just a baseline of staying somewhat protected with cyber? Would it be to get that cybersecurity business insurance? Would it be, hey, get you a good antivirus software? Would it be, what is one thing they should at least have in place?
If they can afford this, and because this is actually not cheap either, get them a vCISO. What a vCISO, and what that is VCISO. That's a virtual chief information security officer. That person is going to do all of that stuff that you just mentioned, basically. Now, there's other parts to it that that person would be able to set up partnerships with people to do some of the more technical aspects if they need it. But the bottom line is all of those things that you just mentioned, that chief information security officer is going to know that. They'll be able to go in and do a risk assessment, tell them where their gaps are, and the gaps are not always technical in nature. A security gap can be the lack of awareness training for your staff.
Okay.
All right, and a lot of compliance entities, governance frameworks require you to be trained. Your staff needs to be trained like annually or whatnot. But that one person is going to know all that stuff. Now you could treat them like a lawyer or whatever, have them on retainer, and they're doing all this stuff. It can be a little costly, but two things about that. One, it's better to have they call them fractional. It's better to have that fractional person,
right, than nothing at all. But what I'm getting to is it's better to have a fractional one than to have a full-time one, because a full-time one that's a right. salary. That's a big one. So now you're talking about the money now.
Now you're talking about the money. So you got this guy or girl who's doing this fractionally. You have some type of coverage, and then this person is going to make all the connections with the entities that they might need to make contact with. And I'm talking that's when you start going into the technical side, because that fractional security officer probably is not going to be the one that does the technical stuff. They have a technical background, but they probably not going to be the one to do it. They will say, okay, you need to have somebody do vulnerability scanning. I know this company, and they'll come in and do the scanning and whatnot. And then the second part of that is not having anybody there is going to cost you more than to pay that person if you get breached.
All right, let's talk about it, E. So, all right, just say I'm business A. I haven't had a V. What do you call it?
vCISO.
vCISO.
For the sake of this, let's just call it security officer.
Security officer.
Yeah.
I haven't had one of those. We haven't had anything happen. I think I'm good. Now, let's see. Let's just say, for instance, we got Chillz Bakery, okay? All right, I got a little brick and mortar. We make a little bit of money, okay? I got the little POS system, computer, whatever. No, I don't think I'm going to be targeted. What's the worst that could happen to Chillz Bakery when you say breached? What does that mean? Like, how would that affect me? And I think that's why a lot of businesses, they don't look at it as something that's necessary, because they don't know what's the worst that can happen.
What's the worst?
Talk to me.
All right. Well, probably the more obvious thing that people think about is customer data, right? So if you get breached and you're a business who, well, you said POS earlier, point of sales, right? Everything's done with a credit card, Apple Pay, tap, whatever, or order online. Whatever it is, the payment's digital, more than likely.
Right.
So there's a database that's collecting all this payer information. All right, especially for ease of use later on for like reorders and things like that. People can set up an account, whatnot. You know, I want to order some more Chillz cupcakes.
That's right.
And all right, I gotta get me 12 more of those cupcakes, man. So I got an account. I saved my credit card information in there for a speedier checkout the next time I get some of those banging cupcakes, and I'm good. So if you get, and you're banging, you're making a lot of money. You know, you have it's growing clients. Everybody, they're talking about your bakery. You get breached. All of that information is stored in a database. They got it. They got it.
And how would I know that they got it?
If you get breached, you just have to assume they have it. You don't know off the top of your head, like,
right.
They have it in my hand. But if they're breaching your business, they got your information. They got what you're storing, because that's the only reason they're breaching you.
Right. So what does that look like on my end? Like, will I not be able to get into my POS system? Would they lock me out?
It could.
Okay.
It could. It depends on what type of attack it is. Like if it's like a ransomware attack where ransomware, you know, they lock down, they encrypt all of your stuff, your databases and whatnot. You don't have access to them, and you got to pay a ransom to get access back to your stuff.
Do people pay the ransom?
Some do, because now you're not talking about cybersecurity anymore. Once that type of stuff happens, it's not just cybersecurity anymore. Now it's business.
Right.
So like I've been in the game for a while, and you know I used to do network administration, network security, system admin type stuff. I used to do all of that stuff when I first started out, and then you know as I progressed through the ranks,
right?
You know you become a leader. You're doing more business. You have to know more about business than you did before.
Right.
So if somebody breaches you, just know that they got the information. So what does it look like to the business? Two of the biggest things. One, there's a treasure trove of information that they just got. Credit cards, stuff like that. They don't need their social security number. They got their credit card number and the verification code, so they can just run up their credit. But here's the other part that's big, and this is where people don't recover from. It's reputational damage. So if Chillz Bakery with the banging cupcakes has been breached, and all of this customer data is out in the wild now, and people are reporting, like, you know, their identity's been stolen, their credit card's been maxed out, blah 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 blah. Even after you recover from that, which is going to cost you, by the way, if you don't have that security person to help you out. Now, after you recover from that, how do you gain the customer's trust back? So that's the long game of it. The short game is, wow, that just happened, but now I got to get back on my feet, and I got to get your trust back. And a lot of times, especially with small business, they don't, and they go out of business.
Yeah, they only gonna pay me with cash now, Eric.
If they come,
only with cash. They not trust me with no. Hey, listen, they won't even trust me with cash app. Okay?
No, they were like, man, I don't want that cupcake that bad.
It ain't that good.
Nah, it ain't that good.
So one thing I wanted to talk about, man, and I know you on the inside of this. You an insider. You an expert at in this field. Now, with AI.
Yeah.
Okay. When I think of AI, I think of GPT, right? I think of, you know, being able to write some copy, get some inspiration. But I know AI is so much more than that. So, like, in reality, where are we with AI in regards to, like, what is it, like, able to do now that we don't even realize? Like, we're still looking at it to, like, create pictures or text, or even, you know, me stealing Taz's voice. But, like, in the background, what kind of stuff is going on with AI now?
You know, that's the funny thing. I don't operate at a high enough level to know all the things that are going on in the background with it. Okay. I can speculate. But for the general, you know, populace, it's doing everything that you said. Now, the one thing it's probably not doing, and this is where people don't really need to worry about it as much, is all those things that require the human touch, human judgment. It's not really doing those things yet. Now, what AI is actually doing, and this is industry dependent, right? It's making people more efficient at whatever it is they're doing. It's taking those mundane tasks and allowing us to, one, process those mundane tasks. I'll use one in our world, like reviewing security logs, right? Okay. That's a beast. And to have just the human eye do that, it takes a while. But if you have an AI that's been trained to do this, and we train them, through the use of prompts and things like that, we train them to look for specific things. They can do it astronomically faster.
Right.
And when they do that, if they catch any anomalies or anything like that, they can push those off to the side, and now the human can focus on these, because these are now the priority, versus us having to go through 10 million lines just to find these 10 different, red flags. It's doing that for us, and it's going to give us the 10. So now we can just look at those. It's not doing that yet. Now, it could if it was programmed that way, but right now, I think a lot of people are just using it to be more efficient versus it just being a all-out take my job type of deal.
Right. So my job is safe for now, E? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. I'm telling people, look, Skynet's not coming online for those that know Terminator. All right. Again, I'm telling you how old I am, but if it does, then y'all can send me a message, say you lied or whatever, right? But I don't really see that being the case. And one thing before I get off of it is, it's not really designed to take jobs. I'm not saying it can't.
Right.
But it's more designed to take tasks. If you're worried about losing your job, worry about losing your job to somebody who knows how to use AI versus somebody who don't. And that's just like any other technological advance that we've had over the years. People who learn the new game go further.
Right.
And the other ones, they go the way of the dinosaur. It's just kind of how it is.
Wow. Listen, you didn't drop some gems today, E. Now, I know you do this for a living, so I want you to tell us, we got just a couple minutes. Tell us a little bit about your business and the services you provide.
Okay, so Verisec Cybersecurity Consulting is basically what I was describing earlier.
That V word that you gave?
That V word.
Okay,
that's basically it. That was my kind of like my little plug.
Okay, I see what you did there.
Yeah, man. I'm just trying to throw my name out there a little bit. But yeah, that's what I do. So anybody who's any of these small, medium-sized businesses that look for that service, that's what I do. I'm a one-man shop. It's just me. And the services I provide, policy development, again, education, that's big. Security assessment, risk and compliance audits, and then the whole thing, the VCISO thing. Right. And that's just everything under that one umbrella. That's basically all it is.
Gotcha. And how can somebody contact you?
Okay, I have a website. I also run a blog. It's just my name, ericharrisjr.com. My company website is verisecllc.com. And on both of those websites, in the upper right-hand corner, are all of my social medias. So, and I could stand to get some more subscribers, followers, or whatnot, because I do a lot of speaking as well. So that the whole thought leadership, I'm really big on that, because you and I, we both with the 100 Black Men.
That's right.
So mentorship is big with me, and that's I do the thought leadership piece. That's the freebie to raise up the next generation of cyber professionals.
Got you. Now, for small businesses, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most important, where would you rank them having a fractional, IT consultant or fractional, cybersecurity consultant in their business?
I would say probably a 10. And I'm not saying that to drum up business. I'm saying that because things are just progressively moving faster.
Right.
If I say 8 now, it could be 10 next week, the way things are going. Especially those businesses that's starting to boom, like Chillz Cupcake. If they blow up, bakery, they blow up. You're going to be like, man, okay, now, I probably need to get somebody to watch over my point of sales devices and stuff like that. So,
man, shout out the website one more time.
Blog site is ericharrisjr.com.
Okay.
Company website is verisecllc.com. And my Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn is the most important one, though. All of that stuff is right there in the upper right-hand corner on both pages.
Make sure y'all follow my guy, okay? He knows what he's talking about, and if you're a business, make sure you schedule some type of consultation so he can see where your, liabilities and vulnerabilities are.
Yep.
E.
We appreciate
I
Mr.
appreciate
Chillz,
you, man.
my man.
Hey, that's going to do it for Talking to Town Radio or Talking to Town Radio. Talking to Town Podcast. We'll be back next week. He talking, she talking, they talking. It's the Talking to Town.